Tom Hanks thought his SNL skit mocking MAGA was just a light-hearted joke, but Karoline Levitt quickly turned the internet against him. What began as another typical night on Saturday Night Live known for its sharp political humor and celebrity impersonations, quickly became a political firestorm. The energy in Studio 8H was high as stars graced the stage, but when the camera panned to Hanks, the mood shifted. Dressed in a red MAGA cap, oversized sunglasses, and a jacket reading "Real America First," Hanks dove into a full-blown parody of a MAGA rally. Some in the audience laughed along, others awkwardly, but the reaction outside the studio was much more divided. His exaggerated Southern accent, the clueless supporter shtick, and digs at Hollywood elites were unmistakable jabs at Trump supporters. The skit leaned heavily into stereotypes with over-the-top patriotism, conspiracy rants, and criticism of woke culture. At one point, Hanks wagged his finger at the camera and mimicked Trump, saying, "You'll ever notice how every time we lose an election it's rigged, but every time we win, it's the will of the people?" While the studio audience laughed, the internet reacted differently. As the skit played on, Hanks doubled down, mimicking calls to take back America and even mocking conservative commentators. But by the time the camera cut, the damage had been done. While many in Hollywood brushed it off as just another SNL bit, social media exploded. Some praised it as bold satire, others called it condescending and disrespectful. Enter Karoline Levitt, a rising star in conservative media, who wasted no time responding. Within minutes, she tweeted, "Tom Hanks just mocked millions of hardworking, patriotic Americans on national television. Hollywood is so out of touch it's embarrassing." Her tweet quickly went viral, sparking heated debates. The hashtag #boycott began trending, fueled by outrage and political momentum. Conservative figures jumped on the bandwagon, calling Hanks a Hollywood elitist, with some posting videos burning DVDs of Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan star. The skit, which was meant to poke fun at political divisions, had instead deepened them, and by the next morning, it had become a full-blown cultural war. At this point, Karoline Levitt seized the momentum, appearing on a Fox News segment where she didn't hold back. This isn't just about a joke, it's about the constant, never-ending disrespect from Hollywood. They think they're better than us, that our values, our way of life, are something to be laughed at. "Well, I have news for Tom Hanks, we're not laughing," she declared. The clip quickly went viral, shared by conservative heavyweights like Donald Trump Jr., Tucker Carlson, and Vivek Ramaswamy. Even Elon Musk joined the conversation, replying to Levitt's tweet with a simple, "Hollywood is a joke." But it wasn't just conservatives who had strong feelings. Liberals and Hollywood elites came to Hanks's defense. They argued that satire was a long-standing tradition in comedy, especially on SNL star. Late-night hosts mocked the backlash, calling it the most predictable outrage cycle in modern history. Trevor Noah, on his podcast, joked, "Republicans are mad because someone on TV made fun of them. Isn't that what they do every day with Hunter Biden?" The debate quickly escalated into a full-blown culture war, splitting social media into two camps: conservatives who saw this as another example of Hollywood's disdain for middle America, and liberals who viewed it as manufactured outrage, arguing that the right wing had no issue mocking others but couldn't take a joke. As the controversy unfolded, more celebrities weighed in, stoking the flames further. Robert De Niro, a longtime critic of Trump, defended Hanks, calling the backlash laughable in an interview. "People are mad because they got made fun of? Please. The entire Trump movement is based on making fun of people they don't like. Hypocrisy at its finest." On the other hand, conservative actors like James Woods and Jon Voight criticized Hanks, accusing him of pandering to the liberal elite. "I used to respect Tom Hanks," Woods tweeted. "But I guess even America's good guy has to fall in line with the woke mob." Even musicians joined in. Kid Rock posted a video smashing a DVD of Castaway with a sledgehammer, declaring, "If you hate us so much, why don't you just stay in your Malibu mansion and shut up?" Calls for a boycott grew louder, with Hanks's name plastered across every major news outlet. Cable news networks dissected the controversy from every angle, while online forums and Facebook groups debated whether Hanks had crossed a line. Companies that had long partnered with Hanks, like FedEx and Apple TV+, faced pressure to sever ties. Rumors even spread that an upcoming biopic he was set to star in had been quietly delayed, as executives weighed the PR risks. The backlash was no longer confined to social media, it was affecting Hanks's career in unexpected ways. By the end of the week, every major news outlet had weighed in. CNN ran a segment titled "Has Comedy Gone Too Far?" The Tom Hanks backlash explained, while Tucker Carlson on Fox News devoted an entire monologue to what he called the latest attack on patriotic Americans by out-of-touch Hollywood elites. Tom Hanks is a national treasure, Carlson said. He played Captain John Miller in Saving Private Ryan for God's sake, and now he's up there on SNL mocking the very people who make this country great. Why? Because they dare to think differently than he does. Meanwhile, the New York Times published an opinion piece defending Hanks, arguing that political satire had always been a part of American culture. The piece pointed out that past SNL sketches had mocked Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and even Joe Biden, so why was it suddenly off-limits to poke fun at MAGA? But that argument fell on deaf ears with conservatives. In their eyes, this wasn't about comedy, it was about something much deeper. Right-wing commentators weren't just reacting, they were strategically weaponizing the controversy, turning it into a broader referendum on Hollywood's arrogance. On Newsmax a panel discussion framed the issue as part of a larger war on conservative voices in entertainment. One guest even suggested that if a comedian had mocked Black Lives Matter or the LGBTQ+ movement, their career would have ended before the show even wrapped. Podcasts followed suit, with Ben Shapiro releasing a 30-minute breakdown arguing that this moment proved Hollywood had given up even pretending to respect conservatives. They don't see you as people, he said to his audience. They see you as caricatures and expect you to just sit there and take it. The fallout wasn't just limited to media personalities, Republican lawmakers started weighing in. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis tweeted, "Hollywood thinks they can insult everyday Americans and face no consequences. Maybe it's time we stop funding their movies with our hard-earned dollars." Senator Josh Hawley went even further, calling for an end to tax incentives for film productions in red states. "Why are we subsidizing an industry that openly mocks half the country?" he asked during a speech. 4 days, Tom Hanks remained silent. The beloved Hollywood icon, known for his everyman roles, had never been a controversial figure, which made the backlash all the more shocking. But as calls for boycotts grew louder and media pressure intensified, Hanks finally broke his silence. In an exclusive interview with CBS's Gayle King, Hanks appeared weary but composed. "I never set out to offend anyone," he said. "It was satire. It was a joke, that's what SNL does." King pressed him, asking, "Do you understand why people were offended?" Hanks sighed, choosing his words carefully. "I get it, I really do. But if we reach a point where comedians can't poke fun at political figures without facing an all-out war, what does that say about us? About our ability to laugh at ourselves?" His answer did little to calm the storm. Some saw it as a reasonable defense, while others viewed it as doubling down. The controversy had now evolved into a cultural battleground, raising the question, was this about a joke, or was it a sign of something deeper, something irreparable? As the debate raged on, a shocking revelation turned the situation on its head. The backlash had begun seeping into Hanks's personal and professional life. What started as a single skit on Saturday Night Live had now spiraled into a national scandal with real-world consequences. Studio executives began to panic. Calls were made behind closed doors, and meetings were held as publicists scrambled to assess the damage. Hanks, long considered one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, was now facing a growing PR nightmare. His carefully curated image as America's everyman was under siege. Within a week, rumors spread that an upcoming biopic Hanks had signed onto, one already in pre-production, was suddenly delayed indefinitely. Industry insiders whispered that studio executives were nervous about attaching his name to a major release while the controversy was still fresh. A source inside Warner Brothers told a reporter off the record, "Look, nobody's outright canceling Tom Hanks, but let's be honest, this isn't a great time to be making a movie with him. Too much baggage right now." It wasn't just Hollywood feeling the pressure. Brands that had worked with Hanks in the past were now bombarded with boycott threats. FedEx, which had partnered with Hanks for a major ad campaign, went silent. Apple TV Plus quietly removed promotions for a project Hanks was producing, and even Disneyland, where Hanks had been a spokesperson for various projects, reportedly reconsidered new collaborations. For the first time in decades, Tom Hanks was experiencing something he had never felt before, rejection. Meanwhile, Karoline Levitt was capitalizing on the moment. What had started as a series of angry tweets had turned her into one of the most talked-about political voices in the country. She was suddenly everywhere, interviewed by Fox News, Newsmax and conservative podcasts. Some even called her the voice of America's forgotten voters. Her social media following exploded, and she went from a niche conservative commentator to one of the most influential voices on the right, almost overnight. Within days, she announced the launch of a new media company dedicated to fighting Hollywood elitism, cementing her status as a force to be reckoned with in the political landscape. Asked, "Is this really comedy, or are we just perpetuating the very thing we're supposed to be mocking?" The question hung in the air, and for many, it felt like a turning point. The controversy surrounding Tom Hanks had grown into a debate about the ethics of entertainment, the responsibilities of those in the industry, and whether satire was still a useful tool for addressing political issues or simply a way to fuel an ever-growing divide. As the conversation spread, it wasn't just about Hanks anymore. The focus shifted to the machine behind the spectacle, Hollywood, the networks, and the executives who, it seemed, would do anything to capture the attention of an increasingly polarized public. It became clear that actors, many of whom had been so willing to push boundaries in the past, were now being manipulated, pressured into roles and moments that didn't always align with their values. For Hanks, the shift was seismic. He had spent decades building a reputation as a man of integrity, someone who embodied the spirit of unity. Now, he was trapped in a narrative that painted him as a victim of Hollywood's pursuit of controversy. His previous silence, once seen as weakness, now became part of his defense. The revelation that he had tried to stop the skit from airing, that he had raised concerns about its potential fallout, humanized him in a way that few could have anticipated. Suddenly, conservative commentators who had once targeted him began to shift their focus. Ben Shapiro tweeted, "Tom Hanks actually tried to stop this skit, but the network pushed it through anyway. Classic Hollywood throwing one of their own under the bus to save themselves." Fox News ran a segment questioning the role of networks in pushing actors into uncomfortable situations. The blame was no longer squarely on Hanks, it was on SNL, on NBC, on the entertainment industry that profited from controversy. Elon Musk, ever the contrarian, added his voice to the fray. "Hollywood is a machine," he tweeted. "Do what they want or they'll chew you up and spit you out." His words resonated with many who had grown tired of the industry's manipulation of actors, and it fueled the fire of a growing boycott movement, not just against Hanks but against the very system that had created the situation in the first place. As the backlash against *SNL* grew, the show faced its own reckoning. For the first time in decades, there was no comment from the network. No statement from *SNL* creator Lorne Michaels. The silence was deafening. Ratings for the next episode plummeted, and viewers, many of whom had abandoned mainstream late-night comedy for years, stayed away in protest. The once celebrated institution found itself on the defensive, forced to reckon with the consequences of a joke that had gone too far. Behind the scenes, NBC executives were scrambling, trying to figure out how to contain the damage. But the situation had already spiraled beyond their control. Hanks, the man once known for bringing people together through his performances, had become an unwilling symbol of the entertainment industry's tendency to exploit controversy for profit. The story that had started with a single *SNL* skit had now evolved into something much larger. It became a broader conversation about Hollywood's political bias, its hunger for controversy, and the cost of fame in a divided society. In the wake of the leaks, questions emerged about how many other actors had been pushed into roles and situations they didn't want to be in. How many had been made to toe a line they didn't agree with, all for the sake of ratings or public interest. What happened next would shake the entertainment industry to its core. For the first time in years, people weren't just questioning political satire, they were questioning the very foundation of the entertainment machine itself. Hollywood was no longer just the place where stars were made, it was now the epicenter of a battle for the soul of American culture. And through it all, one question remained at the heart of the debate: who was truly in control, the stars, the networks, or the public? The aftermath of Tom Hanks's SNL skit controversy revealed a deeper, more unsettling truth about Hollywood's power dynamics. Hanks, typically known for his everyman persona and beloved status, had become entangled in a battle not just over comedy, but over who controls the narratives within the entertainment industry. His admission that he gets it, that satire is important, but maybe constantly mocking half the country wasn't the best way to foster unity, only added fuel to the fire. Conservative media, ever quick to seize an opportunity, jumped on the idea that actors, especially established ones like Hanks, were being pressured into perpetuating political narratives that didn't align with their personal beliefs. One Newsmax anchor asked, "How many other actors have been forced to play along with these kinds of political narratives?" The notion that Hollywood stars were walking on eggshells, afraid to speak up, became increasingly believable. In a viral tweet, Levitt remarked, "Hanks wasn't the first, and he won't be the last. The implication was clear. The pressure to conform to the industry's political biases was real, and it wasn't going away. Once the dust settled, it became apparent that the real losers in this drama weren't Hanks or even Levitt. The true casualty was NBC. Trust in mainstream media had already been waning, but this scandal pushed it to new lows. Even some left-leaning journalists began calling out the hypocrisy. SNL had long prided itself on punching up, but when the controversy hit, they had thrown one of their own under the bus. The situation had gone from a comedy skit to a full-blown crisis of credibility. Boycott campaigns against SNL gained traction, and advertisers started pulling out, fearing backlash. The final blow came when NBC announced that SNL's longtime executive producer, Lorne Michaels, was stepping down. Officially, it was retirement. But to those following the story, it was clear, the fallout had reached the very top. The system that had supported Michaels for so long had finally crumbled under the weight of its own controversial choices. Tom Hanks, for all his efforts to stay neutral, came out of the controversy scarred. His image as America's sweetheart had been tarnished. The public now saw him through a more complicated lens. But in the end, he survived, albeit forever marked by the experience. Karoline Levitt, on the other hand, emerged as a powerful conservative voice. What started as a single tweet had launched her into the political spotlight, positioning her as a leading figure among those disillusioned with Hollywood's elite. The real lesson here was about power, who holds it, who gets to make the jokes, and who ends up taking the fall when things go wrong. Hollywood had finally been exposed for what it truly was, a machine that thrived on outrage, often at the expense of its own. And for the first time, audiences across the country saw the cracks in the system. The question lingered, if Hollywood is willing to chew up and spit out someone like Tom Hanks, what does that say about the rest of us? As the dust settled, it was clear that Hollywood's grip on the narrative was loosening. And maybe, just maybe, it was time for audiences to start asking tough questions about the entertainment industry's role in shaping culture and the stories we tell ourselves.